When you think about buying a car, you probably picture yourself in that final step, walking into the dealership, shaking hands with your salesperson, and driving off in something new. But what you might not be thinking about is that incredibly complex process that gets the vehicle into your hands. And even more overlooked is the vital role that the middlemen, like car dealerships, play in making that possible. We do live in an era that is obsessed with cutting out the middleman, the phrase that gets thrown around like it's inherently virtuous. And tech companies are promising lower costs, better service by eliminating car dealers and distributors. And some automakers, especially those in the electric vehicle space, push really hard for direct-to-consumer sales, arguing that it's the modern way to sell cars and that the dealership model is outdated. But the narrative skips over something critical. Middlemen, like your local car dealer and the shipping company that brought it to your part of the world, aren't just part of the system. They are the system. And without them, the entire automotive experience would be a lot slower, more expensive, and far less accountable. Let's admit it. Americans use middlemen every day, whether you want to believe that or not. Whether it's Amazon getting that package to your door, your grocery store stocking fresh produce, those companies act as connectors. And they're the ones who bring products from point A to point B efficiently, reliably, and at scale. Amazon may be seen as a tech company, but it's really a supply chain company built on logistics and distribution. And in the auto industry, that concept plays out every single day. Cars don't go straight from the factory to your driveway, nor do you have to drive to Detroit to buy it and pick it up at the manufacturing plant. They move through a massive network of raw materials, parts suppliers, assembly plants, transportation hubs, and finally to your local dealer. Each step adds expertise, accountability, and value to the customer. This stands in sharp contrast to the direct-to-consumer brands like Tesla, which operate without traditional dealerships. Instead of customers placing orders online or in the company-owned showrooms, often without ever driving the vehicle first, which is a foolish idea, the company controls everything from pricing to delivery to service to even leasing, which might sound efficient, but it removes the local relationship and accountability that dealerships offer. When problems arise, buyers are often left waiting for a corporation to respond on its own timeline without any local recourse or advocacy. And here's where it matters most to you, the dealership. Dealers aren't just there to hand you the keys. They're your local connection to a global system. And when you walk into the showroom, you're gaining access to a support system. Dealers offer real-time comparisons between different trims and models, and you can see the options, test drive them, smart idea, and ask questions and get answers from someone who knows the product and knows your local driving needs. You don't get that when someone's on the other side of the country. And you're not left clicking through an app, talking to a call center who could be anywhere in the world. You're dealing with someone who wants your repeat business, which is why they also help you navigate often complicated world of financing, paperwork, titling, registration, all of that, getting you plates. You're not navigating that labyrinth of paperwork and regulations for loans, titles, warranties, and insurance on your own. From the time you walk in the door to the time you leave the lot, dealers make sure your investment is protected. And of course, they want you back for service. And most of all, you're supporting local businesses, which means jobs and improving the economy around you. That's something direct-to-consumer models can't replicate. Sure, the idea of ordering a car online sounds sleek. But what happens when there's a defect or a problem? What if your title gets lost in the shuffle? What if you need help with battery range underperforming in winter conditions? Without a local dealer, you're often stuck dealing with corporate help desk, which I've had a lot of friends go through, and it's very frustrating. They hope for a response like you would, with no one nearby to step in or waiting for several weeks to get a vehicle serviced if you can't get it repaired remotely, and no loaner cars. Again, big issues that don't happen with your local dealer. There's also a bigger issue here. Consumer choice. Dealers create competition, and when you walk into several dealerships in your area, compare prices and negotiate, that gives you leverage. When everything is sold directly through a manufacturer, there's no competition, only a fixed price and a one-size-fits-all approach. Let's not forget the economic role that dealerships play. They employ over 1 million Americans, often in communities where good jobs are hard to come by. That includes mechanics, salespeople, people in the office, service departments, so many jobs, including the collision department. And many are family-owned. multi-generational businesses that reinvest in their towns, their local sponsorships, community events, and charitable giving. And when you remove them from the equation, you're not just changing how cars are sold. You're pulling economic activity away from local communities and concentrating it in corporate headquarters and tech platforms that could be based anywhere in the world. At a time when so much of life is becoming impersonal and centralized, local dealers remain one of the last industries where consumers can actually engage in face-to-face, personalized service and make informed decisions, maybe not at the moment, but maybe down the road, but you don't get that when you're on the phone. This contrasts sharply with Tesla, where a car that may not run gets the "we'll repair it when we can get around to it" treatment, which could be weeks. That could be a problem, and again, no loaner cars. So the next time you hear someone saying, "we should cut out the middleman," stop and think about what that really means. Because in the auto industry, the middleman is your local dealer, and it's not just a convenience. They're your advocate, your partner, and your safety net. Because without having that local connection, that is a problem. Eliminating them doesn't streamline the process. It strips away the layers of protection and personal service that American car buyers have come to rely on for over a century. Let's not make that mistake. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this, and check out our car review channel, Car Smarts. You can support me by buying me a cup of coffee, and if you want even more content, check out the links in the description. I'm Lauren Fix. Thank you so much for watching.